somehow. Deborah? A sight for sore eyes near Portland, Maine. A huge spinning disc of ice in the Presumpscot River.
I don't think it's that often that it occurs. It's quite something to watch.
Kathy Sawtell in Westbrook. City officials say the 100-yard wide chunk of ice was created by water current, churned up by a waterfall. S&P futures are up 8. This is CBS News.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified candidates for businesses of all sizes. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What if every time you went out, you could cash in? Now with the Capital One Saver Card, you earn 4% cash back on dining and entertainment, like their first taste of guacamole.
Ew, gross.
And 4% cash back when you take your kids to the museum for the first time.
Whoa, buddy, don't touch that.
No matter your reason for going out, now you have 4 more. Introducing the new Saver Card from Capital One. Earn 4% on dining and 4% on entertainment. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Capital One Bank, USA N.A.
This week, you'll find great deals at Walgreens. Now with Card, buy one, get one free on hundreds of vitamins and supplements through February 23rd. Save on great brands such as Finest Nutrition and 40-ounce Tide laundry detergent, $2.99 with card and coupon. Get great deals on the essentials you need right here at your neighborhood Walgreens. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Of equal or lesser value. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
A new development in a legal fight over Confederate monuments in the Deep South.
A judge has overturned an Alabama law that prevents the removal of Confederate monuments from public property. The judge ruled the 2017 law violates the free speech rights of local communities. The state sued the city of Birmingham 2 years ago after officials tried to remove a 52-foot-tall obelisk that was erected to honor Confederate veterans in a downtown park in 1905. Birmingham's population is 70% black, and the judge said it's indisputable that most citizens there are, quote, repulsed by the Confederate memorial. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
Where have all the young people gone at church? A survey from a Southern Baptist Lifeway research team finds nearly 2/3 say they stopped going for at least a year between the ages of 18 and 22, a majority because they moved to college or got new jobs. Many say they perceive church members to be judgmental or hypocritical. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Police say a driver tried to escape the police on Little Debbie Parkway, and he ran over an escaping passenger in the process. They reportedly tried to pull him over because his car was flagged as stolen. Several police cars tailed the fleeing motorist. He spun out of control and crashed at Shepherd Road. Canine units did a sweep of the area and arrested the suspect on foot. He's not been publicly ID'd. Chattanooga cops say the man responsible for a crash that killed 2 people, including a 92-year-old victim, was arrested in Atlanta by U.S. Marshals. Dwight Turner Jr. taken into custody. 2 other suspects in that crash were arrested earlier in the week. With VW expanding into a new building worth $800 million, there's an expectation of new neighborhoods, apartment buildings, restaurants, and other facilities in the area of Ottawa, bringing potential massive economic boom. Estimates say 7,000 jobs could be created. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
92.7 Nooga Radio.
I went whitewater rafting a few years back, and man, it was fun. This is Bruce Dodd with People's Home Equity, a mortgage company right here in Chattanooga. The water was up that day, and the rapids were pretty challenging. Our guide had traveled the river hundreds of times before and knew exactly where to go and how to approach each rapid. I learned that it's important to know when to paddle, when to coast, and the communication is vital. The mortgage world has become a lot like a whitewater trip. We do mortgages all day, every day. Your mortgage is our priority. If you're looking to move this year, then get the pre-qualification process started with professionals who can help you navigate the mortgage industry. We know when to paddle and when to coast. If you're ready to move, call us at People's Home Equity, 423-591-9801.
People's Home Equity is still closing loans in less than 30 days. Call them now to get pre-qualified. 423-591-9801. 423-591-9801. Call for more details. Terms and conditions may apply. This is not a commitment to lend. NMLS number 66247. Tennessee number 117278136. Georgia number 16020. Georgia Residential Mortgage Licensee. Equal housing lender.
Do you know who I am?
No, I can't say that I do.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Really?
People know me.
92.7
It's okay. We'll buy a new one.
Put this over here. We'll put that over there. Let me rearrange that. We got to get the feng shui going here so things will flow smoothly. For Fred the Show, free radio every day, freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Thank you for tuning in. Phone line open currently 800-8949. Funky ass hump day. Turn this up, James Brown the paper.
You get down with my girlfriend. That ain't right. Woo! Holland cuss.
All JB's great stuff.
You wanna fight?
This is the one I think I really like the best. This is one
Hey,
he
man,
performed
everything you got to see.
You know, the Rumble in the Jungle, Muhammad Ali.
Never do any damn thing to me.
Who was not the guy that was known for, grilling back in the day. He was known for being a murderer. I mean, he was a brute. He was terrifying. He was like, Mr. T, Clubber Lang in Rocky III. Ali actually had fear in his eyes, and I think he sprained his thumb, and so the fight got pushed back a week or two, and so they had all this stuff going on down in Zaire, and all these concerts, B.B. King and the Staple Singers, and James Brown came out and did that one, and one of the lines that came from it, there are two great lines, and one is that I can dig rapping, I can dig scrapping, but I can't dig no backstabbing. But the best one, though, and everybody in my era, my generation, knows this one, and it's absolutely true. He goes, I don't know karate, but I know crazy. And there's no doubt about it. I mean, the best martial art in the world is just being a berserker. I don't know that you can manufacture it. My youngest son is a berserker. When he was 4, we would go to Nightfall, and he'd be running around over there in the fountains at the Miller, Plaza. And people go, are you not worried he's going to get kidnapped? I said, oh, my God. Whoever picked him up would put him back down so fast. What was the little baby's name in The Incredibles? At the end of The Incredibles? Turned into a demon, fire-breathing demon. I mean, that's what, if Lucas didn't want to be picked up, he became a whirling dervish of elbows, knees, headbutts. He broke my nose at least 3 times. I mean, his eyes would roll back in his head, and he would just absolutely go crazy. And he still can to this day.
Jack?
Jack. Yeah, exactly. Imagine Jack. So go crazy. Some of the news, the escape of that young girl that was being hidden under the bed in a spare room after seeing her parents killed. I mean, what a smart girl. We have, these horrible, horrible tales of crimes, all across the country every year. I don't know that we have any more than we used to. It just seems that way because we have the 24/7, news cycle. But I'll tell you this, I'm serious talk. Going crazy is your best defense. Nobody wants to mess with somebody who has just completely gone off the chain. And I'll tell you right now, I don't care what the situation is. If they say, Jeff, get in the trunk, I'm going, hell no. No, I'm not getting in the trunk. I'm not going to let you haul me off and just set this car on fire somewhere. Are you crazy? I mean, you shoot me right now. I mean, you're going to have to shoot me in the back too, because I'm gone. Bye. And that's my superpower is super speed and an incredible self-survival instinct. Follow me in an emergency, and if you stay close enough, you'll get through it. I don't have the berserker skill. Fred the Show. Nobody here named Fred, just the name of the show. And we have a caller on the line with us. Thank you very much. Good morning to you.
Hey, Styles. I just been tuning in to you about a week now. And I always wanted to ask you this question.
Sure.
Give me your top 5 funky songs. Don't matter what artist, don't matter what generation. I mean, what, artist or what year. Just give me your top 5 real quick.
All right. I can do that. It might take me just a second here. Number 1 is easy. It's Flashlight by P-Funk, Parliament Funkadelic. Number 2, we actually haven't played it yet. Daz, either from Brick or Duzik. Skin Tight from Ohio Players. Thank you. Yeah, that's the funkiest song that's ever been made, and I will fight somebody if they want to argue about it. I mean, I will find a berserker in me. There's no discussing it. I would have to go all kinds of white for a second, and say that the Talking Heads, when they did Remain in Light with Brian Eno as producer, and they brought in Bernie Worrell from P-Funk, and the song The Great Curve, which we played, I think, last Wednesday on Funky Ass Friday. Yeah, the one that has life's greatest lesson, encapsulated in the lyric. The world moves on a woman's hips. The world moves and it swivels and bucks. The world moves on a woman's hips. The world moves and it bounces and hops. That would have to be in there. And I don't know. I get the next one would have to be one of those just transferable. It just depends on where you are at the time and how you're feeling. There's a lot of funky stuff out there. I'll even give Michael Jackson a little bit of credit. When Off the Wall came out, I'm in college. I'm living in a fraternity house, and I was required to dislike it, of course. But that whole We Can Ride the Boogie thing, what was the name of it? We Can Ride the Boogie. That was pretty doggone good. And Prince. I mean, if you ever saw Prince live, then you understand he was a rock god. A rock god. And I don't know exactly which song I'd even pull. I guess 1999, that'd be the easiest one to go to. If you've never watched it, you need to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony that they did for George Harrison. And they've got on stage Danny Harrison, his son, and they've got Tom Petty, and they've got Jeff Lynne from ELO, and they've got this incredible band out there. And all of a sudden, this dude steps out on stage with this red suit and red hat on and just starts shredding on the guitar. And they're doing Why My Guitar Gently Weeps. And it's Prince. And he plays for like 5 minutes, this just hair-singeing, teeth knocking out, guitar solo that goes in about 14 different places. And you look at Danny Harrison's face, who looks just like his dad. And at one point, he just walks to the edge of the stage and he just falls backwards. And knowing that people will catch him, and he never stops playing, they push him back up, and he keeps on going. And at the end of it, he just throws his guitar out in the crowd. That's pretty doggone classic right there. So I there you go. I'll give you the 4, but the 5th is always going to be a rotator. That's the only way you have to look at it that way. Now, thank you for that call. I love that stuff. Love that stuff. And appreciate your ring. We are open 800-8949 if you'd like to join us for any reason whatsoever. And we'd love to hear from you. So we do here on Fred the Show. We talk and then we listen. We talk. Sometimes we don't listen. We just kind of just ignore you. But it's still worthwhile to get your voice on the air and say what you want to say. Yesterday, you did hear a breaking news story. Let me reach over real quick. Forgive me. And there was an act of terrorism in Africa, and the deadly attack in the Nairobi hotel. And I don't know if they even have a total of dead, tallied up yet. It was right at 70 last time I looked. And again, I cannot begin to understand the mindset of anybody on the planet, especially people from this country. And we had our own, homegrown terrorist and terrorist attack and the Fallen Five. And what do they hope to achieve? At any given point, how do they feel? How does anybody who gets brought into this bizarre alternative orbit, how do they think that they're going to change people's minds around the globe about religion, about lifestyle by killing people? And it doesn't make any sense to me, and especially when it's poor on poor, which happens more often than not. I mean, most of the Western world, I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to say I'm actually very surprised that we got to New Year's Eve in this country without a major attack. Now, there were some terrorist attacks around the planet on New Year's Eve, but I had a bad feeling. I'm very glad to say I was wrong. But I just, what would make somebody think, see, we're young, poor Black people in Africa. Let's go kill some more Black people in Africa who probably aren't much better off than us. And then everybody's going to see things the way we see things. I said, I'm not a big fan of the human race right this minute. And I just, how easily swayed can we be? I think it's a very valid question to ask right now in the United States of America, to be frank. I mean, how easily swayed can we be? Let's face it, a lot of you folks who are listening right now fall into that 30%. You know, when Donald Trump said he could go out on 5th Street and shoot somebody in the face and get away with it, you're the problem. You are the problem. You understand that. I don't care what you think about the president, any president, or their policies. If you just fall in line with anything anybody says, anybody who's got all the answers, flee from them. Flee from them. No, nobody has the answers. I mean, it has to be a group process. And we broke this news. You probably heard it here before you heard it anywhere else. And it is just horrifying. And I know we don't care about Africa. I know we don't. How many people died in Rwanda and we did nothing? Nothing. Kosovo. How many people died in the former Yugoslavia? And it was Christians killing Muslims at that point. And we did nothing. Bill Clinton, sent a couple of cruise missiles into Libya to respond to, the attack on a Navy ship that killed some. And I don't want to go to war all over the place. You can't just jump on your horse and ride off in all directions at once. But it just blows my mind. And I appreciate Russell stepping in, actually, just interjecting into the show. I mean, we have breaking news like that. We should always do that. Friend of the show, by the way, brought to you by People's Home Equity, my friend Bruce Dodd, and his incredible staff out there, People's Home Equity, chatmortgage.com, 2 T's, chatmortgage.com, MLS 66247. The number is 591-9801. Get your own little piece of the sky. The American dream is still alive and well, and you can turn it into a compound if you want. Protect it as you see fit. But if you're going to look for a home, if you're going to buy a home, you got to have a mortgage. I don't know that many people who actually just buy it. I got that cash in my pocket right now. So you got to go with an expert. And another little thing, here's a bad idea. I cannot tell you how many times since June 15th of last year, I've heard somebody say, taking a knife to a gunfight or taking a tomahawk to a gunfight or something along those lines. There's a guy in Franklin County, Tennessee.
Oh boy. Who
decides to bring a bow and arrow to a gunfight. Another very, very bad idea. If you got the first shot and they don't know you're coming, you might draw first blood. But I think, even if an arrow hits you and it's a hunting arrow and it's got 4 different razor blades on it, it's going to go through you. It's going to sting like a bee stung you for a second, and you're still going to have about 20 seconds to be able to pull your weapon and discharge it into somebody's forehead. A couple of warning shots between your eyes, and just a bad idea.
And that's my home county. Imagine that.
It doesn't surprise me. No. It doesn't surprise me, at least. I can see the whole DNA trails. Matter of fact, is it the name? Argonaut. Cousin?
Nope, no relation. We don't know this one.
Here's a good one. Stevie Wonder, Superstition. Read the show.
I'm the dude. That or his dudeness, duder, or El Duderino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Nuga Radio 92.7. 3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Federal marshals busted a Chattanooga fatal crash suspect. Chattanooga cops say a man responsible for a crash that killed 2 people, including a 92-year-old, was arrested in Atlanta. U.S. Marshals arrested Dwight Turner Jr. 2 other suspects, Sarah Meredith and Haley Hicks, were already in custody. They're all charged with leaving the scene of an accident involving death. More developments in the Athens Park Bloods RICO case. Prosecutors' job's a bit easier. Judges ruled they don't have to prove the defendants made money from each crime they're charged with. That decision made by a criminal court judge, Tom Greenholtz. Defense attorneys have tried to kill this case multiple times through technicalities, but every time they've been shot down by the judge. And officials broke ground on the new Fall Creek Falls State Park facilities. The state is building a new inn, restaurant, and conference center. This is the second in a line of renovations at the park. Val St. John for Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News Now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Space, the final frontier.
Whether it's a man cave, she shed her office, L&K Buildings and Trailer Sales has your space. The perfect portable building just for you. L&K Buildings and Trailer Sales is a premier building authorized dealer. You tired of paying high storage fees, lack of security, and not having easy access to your stuff? Then L&K has the building just for you. Or if you're looking for a mini home or the perfect hunting cabin, L&K has the building that will convert perfectly. Free delivery up to 50 miles. No credit checks and low monthly payments. Call L&K today at 706-858-0077. 706-858-0077. On Facebook, search L&K Buildings and Trailer Sales. 3532 Lakeview Drive, Rossville, Georgia. L&K's featured storage unit this month is a center cabin 12x32, featuring 15% off. L&K Buildings and Trailer Sales. Call 706-858-0077.
As a small business owner, you know that running a business is no easy task. You're in the office and on your 3rd cup of coffee before most even roll out of bed. That's why you need office equipment and solutions that help keep your business running smoothly. The experts at RJ Young provide office technology that ensures your business's network stays efficient and secure, so you can focus on what truly matters, growing your business. To discover how RJ Young can help your small business grow, visit rjyoung.com/smallbusiness.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga Roofing Contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
The first responders, these are the men and women who put themselves in harm's way for us. And here at Nooga Radio, we want to do our part to say thank you. On Nooga Radio, every Friday is First Responder Friday. We'll honor a first responder with a thank you gift from Nooga Radio's community partners. If there's a first responder you'd like us to honor, go to NoogaRadio.com and submit your nomination. First Responder Friday, sponsored by Doug Yates Towing and Recovery, the Mad Philly Sandwich Shop, New York Pizza Department, and Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
92.7 Nooga Radio.
We really hate singing jingles.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Don't worry. It's all good. My favorite thing has been the last single off the last album put out.
I was once out strolling one very hot summer day.
The band War.
When I thought I'd
was
lay
started by
myself
Aaron
down
Burton
to
of
rest
the Animals.
in a big,
Possibly the whitest band that has
grass.
ever existed. And it
I
got a bunch of
lay
East
there
LA
in the
musicians
sun
together
and felt
and
it caressing my face.
launched them. And the next thing you know,
as I fell asleep.
and again, people of my generation were inundated with the
I
phone.
dreamed I was in a
And
Hollywood
like
movie.
so many that got stuck in the box of
That I
having
was the star
one big novelty hit.
Blew my mind.
Why can't we be friends? And that's what everybody remembers, and they don't remember all the great stuff.
I remember Lowrider over Why Can't We Be Friends?
Should be the star.
The Lowrider has been picked up. I mean, by everybody. I mean, I actually was listening about that when the gentleman called in and said your top 5 funky songs. I was thinking maybe about James Brown, the instrumental that Clyde Stubblefield did. I know his son, Ike, really well. Funky Drummer. That is the most sampled song ever. Most sampled song ever. But Lowrider would have to be close. It'd have to be up there. Now, earlier this morning, this is for the show. 800-8949 if you'd like to call in and share your opinion, or you put us off on a different tangent, feel free. I know that there are things happening all over the world, all over our community that we've not touched on this morning. And considering the way that the morning started and the way the night went, I'm just glad to be here and be above ground, to be frank. And there's probably a bunch of folks who are in that same mindset as well. If you get the crud, you're going to keep the crud for a while. That's just all I can tell you. I'm surprised it hasn't really swept through this place any worse than it has, considering our closed up workspace.
Well, usually I'm inoculated. My wife's a nurse in the hospital in the ER.
So you get an IV every night.
She brings it home. I digest it, take care of it, and my body's usually pretty good.
Well, I used to be immune. I used to heal quickly. That hasn't really worked much for me lately. By the way, just that story I was talking about in Franklin County, I will read the Ben Benton, his staff report. Franklin County, Tennessee man is behind bars after leading deputies in a car chase and firing an arrow into a patrol car door. Now, he's in a car chase and he's using a bow and arrow. I mean, now I'm a little bit more impressed.
I do now. That's my people.
I'm thinking of Dances with Wolves and dudes leaning off sideways off the horse and shooting underneath the horse. That's pretty impressive. Now, Russell the Love Muscle came in yesterday with a story about a terrorist attack, and we just mentioned that just a second ago. And I did see the official toll is 67. It'll be more than that. I mean, the rubble of the hotel is just going to be terrible. But actually, he was coming in. We were talking about documentaries earlier, too. He does have a little piece of breaking news, but documentaries and the fact that Free Solo, playing here at the IMAX, has been extended. So you do have a chance, even though after they announced it yesterday, it may have sold out immediately. Probably did on word of mouth. But we're just talking about great documentaries. And I mentioned The Thin Blue Line by Errol Morris, Fog of War about McNamara, and some of there's so many good ones out there. And he brought up a couple. And jump in here.
Yeah, so Into the Abyss is one. It's a Werner Herzog documentary, and basically everything he touches is gold.
Yeah.
The subtitle is A Tale of Death, A Tale of Life, so it's a Herzog documentary. It's about Michael Perry, who's a guy who's on death row, convicted of murdering Sandra Stotler, I believe, a 50-year-old nurse, according to Wikipedia. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember it really sticking out as being a really good documentary.
He's one of the greatest directors of all time. And he truly is. If you've never seen the epic movie he did about the real life adventurer trying to haul his ship over the Andes, because back in the day, they were trying to figure out ways to get from one place to the other. That's the reason Columbus discovered the Dominican Republic, not really America. But he also did one called Grizzly Man, which was as good a documentary as you could ever hope to see. And it was about this very troubled young man who decided to go be an adventurer. And you can't really say that like Into Thin Air or Into the Wild was a documentary, because it was a real Hollywood movie, even though it was very well done. But it was along that line. And the guy went up and he lived in Alaska with the grizzly bears and actually got to know a particular group. They're not, pack animals, but he did die a terrible death. And there's one scene where Herzog has on headphones and he's listening because this guy had been documenting everything on camera. He felt like he was their protector, and he's listening. You don't hear it. You just see the expression on his face, and there's a family member there. He goes, I highly recommend you never listen to this. It's amazing. It's good stuff.
Another similar story. I don't know if there's a documentary about it, but it's worth looking up. Christopher McCandless, the guy who decided to just wander off. Right.
Yeah. No. Into the Wild.
That was Into the Wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fantastic story. That is John Krakauer, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it?
He wrote the book. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another one. I remember we had the He-Man Woman Haters book club. Because we had this group of women that would come in once a month, and they were kind of movers and shakers here in town, and they had a book club, and we read a couple of their novels, and it was fun. And then we decided, well, this is beginning to suck. We need to read some better stuff, man. I'm tired of Bodus rippers, and so
you can only copy Oprah's book club for so long.
That's exactly right. And so actually that was one of the first ones we read. And I remember just very distinctly one of my friends, 450-pound man, Wally Wachowski, and he was just talking about what an idiot. And I was going, it really isn't that idiotic. I mean, if you watch and really read how the sequence plays out, he goes across a stream in Alaska before the melt, gets trapped. He is a survivor. He's taught himself to survive. But he's eating the wrong type of seeds. He has a catalog, a thing that he's been studying, and there's just a tiny difference. One will nourish you. The other one will actually keep your body from turning anything you eat into helpful calories. And so he just diminishes. And the stuff he did even before that is just absolutely amazing.
It's what we call a lack of intel. It's not a lack of intelligence, but it's a lack of intel. He didn't have the right information.
That is
He's a smart guy.
That is correct. That is correct. And also, I have many times, and I've stopped doing this, laughed at people who have gone off and gotten lost in the woods right here, and they're on a path, and you're thinking, how do you do that? Well, I found out how, and I won't go into that story right now. But I mean, yeah, if he had gone another 100 yards upstream, he could have figured out a way to ford the freezing river, and he'd still be alive. Wally also was the one that stood up during Blair Witch Project and was going, "Quit crossing the creek and just go downstream." Blair Witch are always, we're at the same place. We're at the same place, and they cross it. Quit crossing the creek and go downstream. And that did make sense, I have to say. It would. You have any more?
Yeah, there was another documentary, Reformat the Planet, which is totally niche, but it's about these guys who make music with like Game Boys and NESs and stuff. Totally cool stuff.
Game Boys?
Yeah. Yeah, there's
seriously?
Yeah, no kidding. So electronic music is made using a thing called a music tracker, and you can get a cartridge for the Game Boy that is a music tracker.
I bet you my kids have all seen this.
Probably. It's sort of an our generation type thing, but it's really interesting documentary. They talk about the concert that they had in New York. It's a whole big scene with graphics and art and all sorts of cool stuff. And then the music is a big part of it too.
Well, everybody out there, I mean, there's documentary channels, there's, stuff everywhere. Everybody ought to be watching Vice. Let me just go ahead and just put that out there for the heck of it, a free plug, because it's maybe the best news show that's ever been produced.
I know people who used to work for Vice who might disagree with you, but okay.
Well, I mean, I don't care about the working situation. I'm just saying I love the way they dig down into topics. I haven't seen anything that I thought was propaganda yet. I think they've shown both sides of most of the issues.
I'll give you that, yeah.
And that's the important part. I remember when CNN started, they didn't pay anybody diddly squat. Oh, it's resume fodder. Resume fodder. And I wasn't looking for resume fodder. I was looking for a meal. So I didn't go down that route. But anyway, check it out. And we got a call on the line. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Campbell Soup Channel. Hey, tell Will Russell never argue with the star.
No. Everybody argue. Everybody argue all the time.
Bad Russell. 2 comments.
Jeez.
I'm trying to think of something clever for you tonight. I was thinking like Jeff News, maybe Jews.
Oh, man.
Jews, Jeff News. And the other thing is,
Jews media.
McDonald's lately?
And I have not. McDonald's is not my favorite.
Oh my God. It's like, I can't get out of there for under $25 with 2 girls, me and 2 girls. And at least, listen, at least, do you know what Obama gave the same team when they won?
The Tigers?
He didn't even buy them dinner. He got them dessert. He got them Oreo cookies. That was it.
Well, he probably told them. I mean, it was BYOB. you know.
Bring your own burger.
bring your own brew, bring your own burger, bring your own bottle, bring your own, burger, whatever. But it's all right. I just
go thinking on this drive home,
Yeah, all right, man. I appreciate it. I'm not sure that's not propaganda.
President Obama's like, look, guys, I don't eat anymore, but if you guys want to bring something, that's fine.
I haven't eaten in a while. All I do is run the country and play hoops. That's what I do. If you guys have your vote for good documentary or funkiest song of all time, feel free. And by the way, our new guy, actually, Jen the Pimp is in here, and this is the woman who's been assigned to sell me like a product and anything that we do here, and that includes the websites of the day and videos of the day and all the rest of that stuff, and maybe even bumper music, whatever. There's all kinds of stuff. As a matter of fact, I think we have somebody that's going to actually do me and the Argonaut, Jason, are going to actually be billboards because of Facebook Live here, and you can give her a call. And the new guy that we have on in the afternoon during the noon hour.
The new guy.
Oh, Loudmouth Mike.
Loudmouth Mike.
Yes, Mike.
I have a very strong suggestion for him.
Shut up.
No. Never shut up. Always argue. But I was just yesterday. What he did was inspired with his music by going to the Super Chicken theme song. And I know that doesn't resonate with everybody, but it did with me, and it stuck in my head for so long. I was so frustrated. I wanted to take a ball peen hammer and just crack my skull and let it get out, and it's, as he will drink his super sauce and throw the bad guys for a lost call for Super Chicken. And it was driving me crazy. And the only way I made it finally get out of my head was by remembering the Popeye theme song. And let it play. The best part of it is the second stanza, which nobody remembers. When it talks about fighting palookas and uses of bazookas.
My biffs and I bust them and always outrun them, but none of them get nowhere. If anyone dances arrest me, Super Chicken pop and slam understand.
Superman versus Goku.
From Stand By Me, you remember the kids early on, who do you think would win in a fight between Mighty Mouse and Superman? And one of the guys goes, "Oh, dude, Mighty Mouse is a cartoon."
And they felt this level.
A great Stephen King movie. He actually wrote that. It was called The Body. Short story. Rob Reiner turned it into a piece of artwork. So, yeah, sing on. Let this stay in your head all day.
I'm the dude, that or his dudeness, Duder, or El Duderino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Nuga Radio 92.7. 3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Police say a driver tried to escape the police on Little Debbie Parkway, and he ran over an escaping passenger in the process. They reportedly tried to pull him over because his car was flagged as stolen. Several police cars tailed the fleeing motorist. He spun out of control and crashed at Shepherd Road. K-9 units did a sweep of the area and arrested the suspect on foot. He's not been publicly ID'd. Chattanooga cops say the man responsible for a crash that killed 2 people, including a 92-year-old victim, was arrested in Atlanta by U.S. Marshals. Dwight Turner Jr. taken into custody. 2 other suspects in that crash were arrested earlier in the week. With VW expanding into a new building worth $800 million, there's an expectation of new neighborhoods, apartment buildings, restaurants, and other facilities in the area of Ottawa, bringing potential massive economic boom. Estimates say 7,000 jobs could be created. Russell Stroud, Nuga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
92.7 Nuga Radio.
Oh, can happen to anyone. Flat tire, overheated engine, or just a clackety-clack, and now you're on the side of the road. No worries, because Doug Yates Towing and Recovery is there 24 hours a day for you. That's right, 24-hour-a-day emergency roadside assistance. And you don't have to accept who your insurance company or your road assistance provider sends you. At Doug Yates Towing and Recovery, we want you off the road as safely and soon as possible. So they'll be there in a jiffy. Doug Yates Towing and Recovery with 24-hour emergency roadside service. Call 800-407-2371. That's 800-407-2371. Online, yatesrecord.com. That's yatesrecord.com. On Facebook at Doug Yates Towing and Recovery, LLC. Doug Yates Towing and Recovery. We don't want your arms and legs, just your toes. Doug Yates Towing and Recovery is a Nooga Radio 92.7 First Responder Friday sponsor. To our first responders, Doug Yates Towing and Recovery says thank you.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton with E.J. Pelton Company. There are new tax changes for businesses. Smart business owners are talking to their accountant for tax strategies.
Find out what requirements you must meet to be able to sell your home without paying tax on up to $500,000 of profit if you are married, or $250,000 if you're single.
This tax tip was provided by E.J. Pelton Company, located on Dayton Pike, 332-3339, Brainerd Road, 622-3156.
What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what? What? English, do you speak it? Yes. Then you know what I'm saying. Yes. What? Say what again? Nooga Radio.
Brought to you by the Argonaut at this point. Yeah, he's gone straight to my nerves. I did do a stint or two as a DJ in a club, and this song was actually out at the time, so it tells you how old I am. And I said, between this one, the Gap Band, now that made just everybody you did not hit the floor, right?
More dancing man.
More staying the time, and that was dancing in the sheets. And between those two, if I didn't have my night lined up, it was not going to be a good night. I mean, the ladies love a DJ, and those are the two. I mean, back to back. And a shot of Jägermeister, and it should be on. It should be on. I don't know, you guys are releasing today. They say it's terrorist. You get criticized. Sending the wrong message to our youth. You dropped something on me. They would substitute something in there. A bong? No, I think it wouldn't work either. Something. It's better if you're going to edit a song, just leave the word out. Don't try to put another word in. That's just a terrible idea. It always is.
There's this kids game that's out. It's Disable the Bomb.
No.
Yeah, we find more stuff on it.
Candy Crush?
It's a board game.
We're talking about, a documentary about people making music with Game Boys. I'm just not knowledgeable enough about the last 40 years.
I'm sorry, it's called Defuse or Cut the Wire.
Cut the Wire?
That's the name of the game. And basically,
does anything happen to the kid if they cut the wrong wire? If it doesn't shock them, I have no interest in it whatsoever. At least to send some sort of 220. I mean, at least for 1 second, like a taser. I mean, there's nothing in it, like the frozen paintball we're talking about earlier. There has to be some real punishment. Are you just looking to snap? I mean, it's in the pool hall. I used to play pool, and video games started invading it. And the first one was, I guess, Space Invaders. And it's one that speeded up. It would go dun, 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 right, and it would speed up. Yes. And my buddy that was always whip my ass and pull. He'd say, that's your heartbeat, man. That's your heartbeat. Oh, shut up. So yeah, the pool sticks to the back of the head kind of worked for us on arcade games. Yeah, I got as far as Caterpillar.
How to play. Players compete to see who will cut the correct wire to defuse the device and save the day. Use secret clues to help you figure out hints, yada, yada, yada. Avoid cutting the wrong wire and losing the game.
Who cares? But there's no skin. There's no skin in the game. That's what I'm saying. There's no skin in the game. There has to be something that happens, or it just is completely worthless.
Harrington is such an uproar, though. The company has stopped manufacturing the game.
I've walked up on my kids before, and they're playing some sort of game, and they've got their team versus the aliens. I said, just turn around and start shooting your own people. What happens? I mean, there's nothing there's no payback. I mean, there's nothing. There's no negative reinforcement there. We're not teaching them anything by that. I'd rather just play the Gap Band. Tell them to just go out and play with a dog. 800-8949 for the show. And my name is Jeff Styles, spelled with a Y. Thank you very much. And I appreciate Jason Argonaut being here, and Russell Love Muscle, and all the other folks out there. And one of the few festivals, it'll be mid-February, by the way. I'll just give you that little hint before you actually finally get the bird's eye lowdown scoop, whatever that means, on the Riverbend Caper and the changes being made. I was in sort of an executive level meeting the other day, and that's the way it's going to be. They're going to do more like other festivals do and try to do a full lineup announcement. It'll be mid-February, and there's definitely going to be some changes. And I think that all people are hearing, and again, every media outlet has done this at this point, so I'm not giving up anything. I'm not, speaking out of school. All people are hearing is that it's going to be shorter and cost more money. What they're not hearing is that there's going to be a lot more money to spend on talent on the stages, and it's going to be a very different sort of thing. I can't tell you much more than that, but I can tell you that. Most have announced, and yesterday the Jazz Fest did. And last year, I thought that was possibly the worst year for music festivals that I've ever seen. I thought all the lineups were inferior, with the exception of the stellar New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival that they had was just insane, off the chain. And they have announced this the 50th year. And of course, we're looking at Riverbend celebrating its 40th. So that's the kind that you got to give the festival some love. Go ahead, feel free, read them off. Rolling Stones will be one of the headliners.
I'm just trying to count up to see if I have enough vacation time.
Stones, yes. Dave Matthews Band,
Katy Perry,
Jimmy Buffett, who doesn't do festivals as a general rule ever. Santana, who's also doing Woodstock. I think a lot of. We went 2 years ago so I could see Van Morrison. He'll be down there. Al Green, Earth, Wind and Fire, and it just continues. And there's nothing bad on there.
No,
there's nothing. I don't see one band that makes me go, I'd rather see something in that place. That guy Kamasi Washington in the second paragraph down there, he's the new dude when it comes to jazz. He's reinventing jazz the way Miles Davis reinvented jazz, and he's making it much more accessible to people. But I mean, it's a doggone impressive thing. And if you don't know how it works, it's 2 weekends. It's not a week long, and it does have one central location. And if you do decide to go and you've never been before, I will tell you that the location does have a couple of natural bottlenecks. Don't think you're going to run from one stage and get to the other the way I normally do when I go to festivals. I'll catch the last half of Pearl Jam and go somewhere else. You can't do that. You just need to hunker in somewhere. But it's 2 weekends, and they stop like at 9 o'clock at night. It's not like Bonnaroo either. I mean, Fish's first set on the last night when they're doing 2 sets, then he starts until 12:30. So they'll be playing into the sunrise. They don't do that in New Orleans because they're smart enough to know that people will die miserable deaths in the back alleys. I mean, people from New Orleans know where they live, and it's a dangerous place. It's a very dangerous place.
Which is where I'm going again this weekend.
Well, good for you. And I'm right.
I do know you're right.
And let's see who else is going to be there. Of course, all the Neville's going to show up. And let's check that out. That's Kamasi.
Yeah.
And that's I would say that's a different sound, but it qualifies by every description as jazz, but it just brings a sonic element to it that you don't normally hear. I saw this top 10 list of people we admire who are actually terrible people. Miles Davis was number one. I'm a huge fan, but I know that's right. There's a whole lot of people out there. Again, I got friends who are just absolute jerkwads, and I still like them. But I mean, I know that they're not good people, and most everybody who knows me says the same thing. So there you go.
I like this.
That's all. It's incredible. It just gets big too. It gets big. I mean, they build. So like even the jam band kids, like them because they kind of build into drops, as it were. We could have had them last year. We cannot have them now. I mean, there's such a zone. There's such a zone where you can get a band. Like we had the Avett Brothers on the Unum stage, and the next year they were headlining festivals. They cost $750,000 now. So you won't be seeing them on a side stage anywhere anytime soon. We got Grace Potter right before she blew up. Moon Taxi, one of the best show ever at the TVFCU stage under the bridge. Ever. That place was, I just thought the whole roof was going to lift off. And, Nicola Highway or Riverfront, whatever, was just going to collapse. It was just insane. Of course, I did build them up all day. They had a little British hard rock and blues band that went in front of them called, what were they called? Leo, something like that. And they sounded kind of like Cream. It was blues, but it was really hardcore. And I hung out with Moon Taxi all day. And I just kept chiding them. Said, man, you guys better bring your A game. These guys are good. By the time they get out there, man, they were chomping at the bit. They were like a wrestler. They were going, man, let me at him. It was just a crazy, crazy show. And so anyway, I think you're gonna see and hear things that you like from Riverbend when it's all over. I'll just say that. NugaRadio.com. Go to the website. You can go to Facebook Live. But if you're watching on Facebook, you're listening to the radio. I always give radio credit. You can always download the streaming app and listen that way as well. Sometimes we might be off the air like we were yesterday, but it doesn't really make that big a difference. You can find other ways to listen, and sometimes they're better ways. It's that simple. And so why are you going down again?
Oh, my wife and myself usually go down. It's first time we ever went to New Orleans was the 20th and 21st of January 2 or 3 years ago. So now we've just made it an annual little adventure.
So you avoid Mardi Gras.
We avoid Mardi Gras, but we get
which is smart, by the way.
But
which is very smart.
The fun of New Orleans. We also get king cake, et cetera, and not have to deal with the headaches.
Well, you can do that anywhere. Oh, you mean headaches like hangovers? Or
no.
I don't think you hang.
There'll be some of those.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't avoid those.
No, there'll be some of those.
It is, like I said, New Orleans is not part of America. You understand that. South Beach in Miami is not part of America. Those are totally different countries, totally different nations.
But now we're having enough fun. We're actually taking the in-laws. My mom and
that's a lot of fun.
My dad and stepmother and her mother are going. It's gonna be fun.
We'll just get on the trolley and go, oh, y'all missed it. We'll see you down at wherever. And they'll be fine.
Love them to death.
They'll be fine.
I told Kim the other day, I'm like, look, I tell you what, you just drop me off at the train station. I'll ride the train down and you can drive them.
I can't tell the full story, but me and a friend went there for a couple of days before we went over to Panama City, and we were part of that, the beach crowd, Salt Life, lifeguarding, selling suntan oil, condo shares, whatever would keep us down there. But we decided to go to New Orleans, and I can't tell the whole story, but we did decide there was one side street we're going to hit one shot at every bar. Terrible, terrible, terrible idea. And all I can remember and can really say on the air, because he's a respected person in this day and age, and we got some sort of shot that was a flaming drink, and my buddy was already so twisted and out of his mind that when they set it on fire, he didn't really know what to do. And he picked it up and he was kind of just trying to put it to his face and goes, blow it out, man. and he blew it out and he just started, he goes, drink it. And so I put him in a cab, and I got back to the hotel about 2 hours later. I'm walking to our room. I look between two tourist buses, and there's a silhouette of a guy standing there, kind of zombie-esque. This is New Orleans. I'm like, oh, voodoo. And it's my buddy. He has fallen asleep standing up between the two buses, and I just happened to look over there. That's what New Orleans will do to you.
Oh, yeah?
Be careful.
My favorite thing, though, is the cemeteries. Those are just
the
neatest things in the world to see.
That's worth the trip right there. I have a non-macabre, fascination with the cemeteries as well. People's Home Equity, thank you very much for sponsoring for the show. Chatmortgage.com. 591-9801. 591-9801 is the number. Tell Bruce and his folks I said hi. Warren and Griffin, thank you very much for helping us out throughout the show every Monday through Friday, unless I can't get in because of a traffic jam or I just don't feel good.
Happy waitress.
I'm the dude, that or his dudeness, duder, or El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Are you looking to buy a home? You go online and search, or you ride through the areas you want to move to, looking for time stands still when you see it. You know, that home. But you spend all that time. You build up all that excitement to find out that you only qualify for... Maybe you have a few things on your credit that keeps you from... things that you could take care of. You know what you should do? Call the mortgage professionals at People's Home Equity. They specialize in